Hello everyone, welcome to Tatum Talk. I have discovered a new piece of this clue. Remember, and I'll link the video below for those of you that haven't seen my previous video, this video right here. So I talked about how it was for me when I first applied for an apartment as a felon, right? This was like a year and maybe 9 months ago that I've been in this apartment now. So I said I got the apartment, the first apartment that I applied for, I got it, right? However, so many people responded under that video and told me about the challenges they were having. People told me all kinds of things, how long they had been trying to get a place, that they had these convictions going back so many years and it was still hindering them. Some of them were in, telling me what states they were in, and I was trying to help them like look up different laws in that state to see, like if there was something different going on than where I'm at. I have uncovered a whole other source, a whole nother clue, and this is gonna help a lot of you out there, okay? So what I need you to do, get a piece of paper, get a pen. You're gonna wanna save this video. You might have to come back and watch it again. But I got some information for you. You're gonna need to write it down. And I'm about to show you, I'm gonna take you to the law and show you how I found it, where you can find it. You can reread it and read it again. You could quote it in these letters I'm gonna have you write. This is information for everybody out there that that has some sort of conviction in their background and is holding them back from getting an apartment, okay? Maybe it could help you also applying for a job, I'm not sure, but I know it's gonna help you get an apartment. So get in here, gather your paper, your pens. You need to share this video with whoever you think that it could help, okay? We're about to get into it. Now, here's the thing. When I applied a year and 9 months ago, whatever it was, remember, if you follow my channel, you remember that I had a clean slate, right? I had no ID, I had no credit. I had to build my credit over in 2020 before I got a place in 2021. So that also meant now I'm looking back and I'm applying it and I'm like, oh, okay. What happened also was that after 10 years, the credit bureaus, they give you a clean slate, right? So I did not have any history to be reported, even though I had arrests, but probably they didn't get reported because I had a clean slate. I hadn't used my credit, my name, my social, nothing for 10 years. I was on the run about 8.5 of those years. And then I went to jail and then I got out and then I rebuilt. So it had been like 10 years. The thing I'm gonna show you is that there are other credit reporting agencies called secondary agencies, the ones that furnish, the ones that we know about, the Equifax, the Transunion, the Experian. They get their information from another set of credit reporting agencies.
What the hell did you just say?
The secondary agencies are LexisNexis, Innovus, SageStream is another one, but I think it merged with LexisNexis, so now that's one. There's another one called CoreLogic. There's another one called, I think it's ARP. I'm gonna show you anyway. I wanna show you so that I'm gonna give you the phone numbers to them, everything. This is what you need to do. You need to freeze. When you know you are about to apply for an apartment, you need to freeze these reports on these secondary agencies so that they cannot furnish the Experian, the Equifax, the TransUnion. So this way, it's only your credit that's coming up and nothing else derogatory. Now, you'll probably need to unfreeze it after you've applied for whatever it is you're applying for, because I don't think it's a good idea to keep them frozen ongoing, because a lot of things, it might hinder you, because they also could, when you're applying for something that you want to be approved for, it could go against you. So when you want to dispute something or when you're applying for an apartment, that's the best time to freeze it. Okay, and I'm going to show you that you can do that by law, no problem. Same way you could freeze your regular credit, you could also freeze these secondary reports. By the way, you can also request a copy of the report that they have because you have the right to see what's in your file. This is how you freeze. Freeze the secondary credit bureaus. Here's the contacts. Advanced Resolution Services. Call or mail. I'm going to say mail the letter. Well, you know what? We'll mail the letter when we want to tell them to delete it off. But to freeze it, you could probably call and do that over the phone. Oh, look, maybe you could do it here at the link. I'll give you the link as well. CoreLogic, Anovis, LexisNexis, SageStream, they merged. You can freeze this report online. Okay, so this is what you want to do. The reason you want to freeze the smaller credit reporting agencies is because the big three, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, verify the information with the smaller bureaus before they verify or validate with the financial institution themselves. So when you freeze these reports, it forces the big three bureaus to verify each account being disputed with the creditor furnishing the information. And I would like to say that that takes more than 30 days probably. So you'll be able to have them just by freezing this. It'll go unverified. And you know, by the time you do your pull for the whatever it is, the apartment you're applying for example, you know, they won't be able to do that. They won't be able to verify it with the actual creditor in that little bit of time. The other part to this is when you know you're going to apply for an apartment, I recommend you call up this building first, right? Call up the building management. Don't speak to the receptionist because she probably won't know, but ask to speak to the person that is in charge of new applications for new rentals in the leasing office. You want to ask that person, which credit bureaus do you pull from? I'm about to apply for an apartment at your property. I would like to know which credit bureaus you pull from. Now, they may say a number of things. They may say they don't know because they may say, oh, we use a third party to do that for us. I'm not sure who they use. They may say we use Experian. They may tell you, right? It doesn't matter. The reason that you're going to give, if they ask, the reason you're going to give is because your credit reports are frozen. You want to know which one to unfreeze. That's why I'm asking, so that I can know which credit bureau you pull from. This way I know which one to unfreeze. Doesn't matter what they say, right? Because this is just a gateway into the next question. The next question is the important question. What tenant scoring company do you use? So there's quite a few of them. There's like a handful that they might use. Well, I checked my credit report and I see this company, Rent Grow, has an inquiry February the 12th. And this was the month that I moved in. So I want to say that has to be a tenant scoring company. Let's go check it out. Rent Grow. This is it. Rent Grow screening report. Rental application. As I'm sitting here editing, I said, let me look on my own credit report. And I had no idea that was there. Tenant screening companies. There's a handful of them. Transunion Smartmove is probably the most popular one. But look, here's another one right here. Rent Ready. Let me see. The 7 best tenant screening services. They list some of them here. Okay, Rent Prep, eRenter, VeriFirst. I've never heard of some of these. Better, I never heard of these. RealPage. See, so this is why I say you need to call the building and inquire who do they use as their tenant screening service. And then when they tell you who that is, then you want to get the report that the tenant scoring company is using. And you can see what's on it before you apply, right? So now if there's something derogatory on that, you could ask them to freeze it or delete it altogether. And I'm about to show you in the law where it gives you the right to do that. And you can quote this, you could write a letter, you can quote this law, copy and paste, whatever it is, put it in this letter, and they'll see that you know what you're talking about and you're right. So many people are making money off us. So many people are making money off of selling our information. Oh my God, it's crazy. And they're banking that we don't know. You know what I mean? Because most people don't know. We don't read the consumer law. But this is all, the consumer laws are there to protect us. And if you read the law, you will see that they are violating the law. So once you figure this out and you point it out and you tell them, and you have to tell them with a certified letter, certified return receipt, because you want proof that they got this letter. Okay, this is where you're gonna need your pen and paper because we're about to dive in. Okay, so the site we wanna go to is law.cornell.edu. And when you get here, in order for us to get the USC codes, we want to go here, get the law. And then underneath that, you'll come down to USC code. Okay, and then when we get here, the one where I'm going to talk about now, it's 15. And then for section, you want to type in 1681. The first thing we're going to look at is this word right here, accuracy and fairness of credit reporting. Why? Because this is imperative. Accuracy is the main thing that the credit bureaus are supposed to provide. They're supposed to provide an accurate credit report. We go on to read, the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. Then, 1681E, go. Here we want to focus on B, accuracy of report. Whenever a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. Previous, we want to go to 1681B. Okay, permissible purpose. Permissible purpose. Who did you give permission for your student loans, tax liens, bankruptcy, conviction records, etc. to furnish this information to any credit reporting agency? Did you give permission? No, you didn't give permission. And everyone needs permission. So if you scroll through this, subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. In response to the order of a court having jurisdiction to issue such an order, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates, in accordance with written instructions from you, you're the consumer. This says right here, only if, under the following circumstances and no other. If you give permission, or if the court has a court order to a person, which it has reason to believe. Now let's look at what person is. Person is, the term person means any individual, partnership, corporation, trust, estate, cooperative. So a corporation, right? That is the LexisNexis and all those secondary companies that I was telling you about. So when I say person, don't think of an individual. Person also refers to corporation. To a person which it has reason to believe intends to use the information in connection with the credit transaction involving the consumer on whom the information is to be furnished and involving the extension of credit to or review or collection of an account of the consumer. So those companies, those secondary companies, they are not extending you credit. It's not a credit transaction. It's not an extension of credit. They don't have a collection account with you. They are third party, right? All they're doing is getting your information and selling it. So they don't have an intended use. A person intends to use the information for employment purposes, intends to use the information in connection with the underwriting of insurance, intends to use the information in connection with the termination of consumers' eligibility for a license. That's like when I was applying for my insurance license, they have a right to pull my credit. Intends to use the information as potential investor, servicer, or current insurer in connection with the valuation or an assessment of the credit or prepayment risk. This is a credit obligation as well. Okay, go down some more. Otherwise, has a legitimate business need for the information in connection with the business transaction initiated by the consumer. Again, here we go. You have to give permission to review an account to determine whether the consumer continues to meet the terms of the account. Executive departments and agencies in connection with the issuance of government-sponsored individually billed travel charge cards. All of these are reasons a person has to pull your credit. But again, it looks as if it's repeatedly saying that the consumer has to be the one to give the permission, right? In response to a request by the head of state or local child support enforcement agencies, okay, they can pull your credit. The consumer report is needed for the purpose of establishing an individual's capacity to make child support payments. Okay, all of these right here, I'm going to skip because they all fall under the same thing, child support. The next set of reasons would be the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or the National Credit Union Administration as part of its preparation for its appointment or as part of its exercise of powers. So this is something to do with a credit union. It may not apply to most of us. Conditions, this is for employment purposes. Look, the consumer has authorized in writing the procurement of the report by that person. Again, this is here saying that you have to give permission. So if you just keep reading through this, pretty much everything points back to the same kind of thing. You're the one that gives permissible purpose, and they have to notify you in writing to let you know, get your consent and let you know that they pulled your report. Right? When you go to an apartment and apply, you have to sign something to give them reason to be able to pull that report. It can't be done without your knowledge. And this is the same thing with these agencies, these secondary agencies. They're not supposed to be furnishing any information because you didn't give them permission to do that. So this is the reason right here that you're going to state in your letter. You're going to use permissible purpose. Look, the consumer authorizes the agency to provide such report to such person. Person is, again, corporation. So you're going to quote this. And I showed you how to find it. 15 USC section 1681B. Okay, so put that on pause. And we just talked about, okay, accuracy. With those, knowing those two things, accuracy and permissible purpose. Now, how do they get this information? Where do they get it from? See, when you send a letter and ask them to validate the account, validate this information, and it comes back verified, how does it come back verified? Where's it coming from? I'm going to tell you where it's coming from. They're getting it from Pacer. We don't know if what's on Pacer as being furnished to the reporting agency is accurate. If it's not accurate, it's not fair. And also, where's the permissible purpose? Because you didn't ask them to do that. They didn't ask you, they didn't get your permission, and you didn't tell them that they could do that on your behalf. This is where you're going to be able to get them to stop doing it, to delete it, and you can freeze it. That's the quickest way, but to get it off and stop it completely, we're going to have to send a letter. Pacer is where they are getting their information from. Okay, it's this first one because it says uscourts.gov. public access to court electronic records. So they are saying that they are providing access from public records. It's public information. That's what they'll tell you, right? We provide information that's public information and it's verified. Experian will love to say it's verified. Transunion, it's verified. Okay, how is it verified though? Because Pacer does not. I don't see any place on here because I've looked. But we can look again. We can look and see where does it say that everything on here is 100% accurate. If you go into policy and procedures and privacy, where else could it be? Let's look in About Us. I don't see anything in here about saying that it's accurate. They talk about how it's funded, the fees. Mission is to provide the public with the broadest possible access to court records. These are the people that use it, the general public. When was it established? 1 billion documents filed in more than 200 federal courts. The Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts, the agency provides a wide range of support services. Okay, no place here does it say that it's guaranteed to be accurate. Policies and procedures, they talk about the fee. They talk about there's a charge. We're not interested in that. Certain accounts may be designated as exempt from fees. Doesn't concern us. I must alert any errors. Nope. The per page charge. Nope. Users who provide a valid credit. Nope. Usage is billed on a quarterly. We don't care. Statements which contain a summary of the charges. Nope. Doesn't concern us. All new accounts. If a credit card. Okay, none of that concerns us. That's not what we need. What else is here? Suspend service. This is telling you they reserve the right to suspend service, demand payment. None of these things apply to what we need. Go down some more. Public access to court electronic records is supported by user fees. Nope. An account determined to be related to an account that has been subject to an action. Nope. Accounts may be determined to be related based upon any information. Nope. If these policies, procedures change in a significant way. Nothing there has anything to do with us. Billing. Yeah, I don't see anything. Did I miss something? Did I miss anything? No. Let's go into this privacy one. Let's see. Information routinely collected and stored. Our privacy policy outlines the types of information we collect. This policy applies to if you visit, download, collect and store information, the name of the domain, the IP address, the date, time, pages you visited. If you visit, this information is used solely for purpose of evaluating and maintaining our site and is not used for associating search terms or patterns of the site. No. Information you provide. Security notice. Policy for electronic public access applications. If you pay by check, your check will be converted from a paper transaction to none of that. Any attempt to collect data prohibited may result in criminal estimation. Billing. Security policy. To identify unauthorized attempts to upload or change information or otherwise cause damage. Nope. None of that says anything about this information on our site is guaranteed to be accurate. Nothing like that here. Okay, so how can they verify this to be true? Now the next step you want to do is contact the court. The court that wherever you had your case, your criminal proceeding, or wherever you had a bankruptcy or something like that, that's showing up on your report. You want to contact them for verification. So you're going to write to the clerk of the court where you had your case. 2 questions you want to put in your letter. quick letter. Do you report to consumer reporting agencies? And 2, can you certify under penalty of perjury that all information reported on PACER is accurate and complete? You want to mail this certified mail, return receipt requested, and I would like you to put in a stamped envelope just so that there's no problem with them responding back to you. Make it easy for them. Now, you're going to get a letter back, and it's probably going to take 30 days, and it's also going to say they do not share information with consumer reporting agencies. They probably won't answer the second part of that question because who's going to want to certify anything under penalty of perjury, right? They're probably going to separate themselves from that and not want to respond or give you any answer. But that's okay. You really just want this answer right here because you need this letter as an attachment for the next step. So then you should freeze your secondary reports, the ones that we talked about earlier. And then a lot of people probably will say, well, if you have an eviction on your report, this report I'm talking about is, remember I said, find out who the apartment building uses to score their tenants. Their tenant screening service. That's the report I'm talking about. You want to get that ahead of time to see what's on there. While you're waiting for that to come back, you're going to do this letter to the court because that's going to take about 30 days to come back as well. Freezing your secondary reports, that could be done in a day. Okay, now this dispute letter. After this letter comes back from the court, hold it to the side for now. And after you see what the tenant screening report has, if there's something on there that's derogatory that's going to prevent you from getting the apartment, you want to dispute it. Okay? Whatever the tenant screening company is. It could be Transunion Smartmove. It could be Rent Prep, Core Logic. It could be Rent. So many other ones. So you want to dispute it, and basically this is the reason you should be able to dispute it, because they too are under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It covers tenant screening companies and the reports they sell. The companies that sell tenant screening reports are consumer reporting agencies. So the FCRA says consumer reporting agencies must have policies and procedures to assure the maximum possible accuracy of the reports they sell. Your whole dispute is going to be about them it's not accurate, right? So dispute it. You want to say, identify the items that you want to dispute. So you're going to list whatever's shown on that report. If it's saying, you have a case from 5 years ago, you want to refer to that. Identify each item. And then you want to say the reason you're disputing it is because you want to quote in the beginning where I showed you that law, 15 U.S.C. 1681, whatever it was, permissible purpose. You want to also quote the law for the accuracy. Look, this is even more law that you can use. Under 15 U.S. Code 1681, you go here to subchapter and then scroll down. We're looking for this one. S2, responsibilities of furnishers. Responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. Furnishers is all the CRAs, even the tenant scoring companies, they are under the same rights of a credit reporting agency. So we're talking about them too. Duty of furnishers of information to provide accurate information. There's that word again, accurate. Reporting information with actual knowledge of errors. A person shall not furnish any information relating to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person knows or has reasonable cause to believe that the information is inaccurate. These laws are here for us. So you can quote this and use this in your letter as well. We already talked about accuracy. They don't know if it's accurate or not. They're not taking the time to delve into your file and see if it's old, if it was, removed, if it was vacated by the judge. They don't know any of that. All they know is they pulled it from somewhere and they put it in their file, and now they're selling it to the landlords. So you're going to dispute the accuracy based on these laws. And then you want to say you have the right to have an accurate reporting on your report based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Then you want to know, how can you verify an account where the information is not accurate? And then you want to tell them you looked on the Pacer website, because we did look on the site, right? We didn't see any place where it said the information was guaranteed to be accurate. Then we contacted the court. The court said, and then you're going to tell them, no, they don't share any information with you, and they wouldn't verify or certify that Pacer is accurate. I asked them, and they didn't do that part. See the letter attached from the court. Then you want to tell this third-party tenant screening agency that they reported inaccurate information on you, and please delete it. Also, please furnish me with the new report within 30 days. Now, a lot of people would like to say, if it's an eviction, or you have to pay the eviction and you have to work out some type of goodwill letter to where after you make the payment, then they will delete it off your record. Well, you don't have the money to make the payment. If you had that money, you wouldn't have had the eviction in the first place. I'm saying go around it. I'm saying use the consumer law and prevent them from reporting it. If you have the money and you're in a better place, try the goodwill route. Get everything in writing though. And if you make this payment, will the landlord that you had remove it? If it's a conviction from a criminal record, that's not going to be removed. There's nobody to go. You can't coerce the court to take it out the record. So you're going to have to try to do this probably and suppress the information from showing up. Oh, I went back and added this last line as a tip because I read this somewhere. Do not sign the letter. Only print your name or type it if you type in the letter. This will lessen the chance of them comparing signatures and validating any debt on any documents that you may have signed. Transunion Smartmove. This is a lot of landlords use this. This tells you, look, tenant criminal report, eviction report, look, 7.3 million landlords use this. So this is why you need to freeze this report. Also, they're not accurate all the time. Let's look at this other page that I found. This tells you all about the process. Tenant involvement. The landlord can't do anything without the tenant. So basically, the renter is involved in providing the information and allowing the screening process to continue. It's an email that they send, and there in the email is where you give your permission. Then the process starts. Look, this is important. It does not provide criminal records, criminal data for select states. 5 states have decided not to allow instantaneous access to their criminal data. Those states are Colorado, Delaware, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Massachusetts. These states have realized that they can charge consumer reporting agencies like Smartmove to access their criminal data. Due to this, Smartmove does not provide landlords with criminal data from those states. If your potential tenant is living in or has ever lived in one of those states, you will not have information on if they have ever committed a crime there. So that's only 5 states that don't participate, but the rest do. Now this is important too. Database criminal reports have the tendency to, I guess they're trying to say they left a word out, inaccurate. This is because courts and sources are not required to share their records with any particular database. And that is what I said. I said for you, when you contact the clerk at the court and ask that question, do you share information with CRAs, which is credit reporting agencies? They're going to tell you no. It says it right here. Courts are not required to share their records. It's easy to find situations where criminal activity is recorded in one database and not another. Eviction records can also be spotty when receiving instant data. There are many instances where an eviction was filed and appears on a judgment search, but the same eviction does not appear on an eviction search. So, inaccurate information is rapid. And this is why, remember I pointed out that the law says the information on your consumer report has to be accurate. This is the reason why as soon as you bring it to their attention, they are going to delete it. They're going to remove it because they already know. Now that you know, they will have to do it. But as long as we don't know and we don't ask them to remove it, that's where it stays there. Now let me show you this other page. This one I got to, this is just transactly.com. I put in lawsuits against TransUnion in order to find, they've been sued more than once. If you look here, this is a case, Patel versus TransUnion. In July 2013, Mr. Patel applied to rent an apartment in Union City, California. TransUnion Rental Screening Solutions to use Smartmove. The product gives subscribers a customized credit recommendation and a national background search about the applicant. Let's see, as part of the rental process, Mr. Patel to access the Smartmove website to provide information and authorization for CBC to obtain a Smartmove report. Let me see what happened here. The report was inaccurate. It said that Mr. Patel had 17 criminal records from New Mexico and Rhode Island, but these records do not belong to him, and he has never been to these states. It referred to a 2008 misdemeanor DUI, but a California court vacated that offense in 2012, a year earlier. It also said he was a terrorist from Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh my God. So yeah, he sued. I don't know what he got. Let me see. Can I find that? I don't know. This thing is long. It's long and involved. I don't know what the remedy was that he got. But if you care to revisit this, you probably could Google it, Patel versus TransUnion, and you could read up on it. Here's another one, McIntyre versus TransUnion. There's plenty of information. If you start, all you need to know is to be pointed in the right direction. Now that you know this stuff is here, you can find so much information about it. Okay, we've come to the end. As a bonus, I'm going to give you a link to this page. I found this page on accident, but it's perfect. It says how you can suppress data from these consumer agencies. So basically, it's the same ones that I already gave you, but also what she's saying is that you can opt out for 5 years. You know how you get those solicitations in the mail where they're offering you credit and they're offering you insurance? Your name is on a list, and so you can opt out of that database so you don't get those annoying solicitations in the mail. So she tells you for each one of these things what to do. You know, opt out. You can request it. You could do it online. You could do it by mail. Opt-out-prescreen.com. And so you do that at these secondary agencies because, again, they're the ones. They're the reason why you're getting all this mail. So I'm going to link this. It'll be in the description so that you can read through it. We've got a lot of work to do. Okay, I think I have proved my point. I want y'all to take action. I want you to share this information with whomever you think that it can help. And last but not least, please like this video. Please comment below. Help this video get some traction because it could get out there and it can help a whole bunch of other people. And whatever you do, if you get results, come back to the video and also comment below because I would like to know that. Enough of y'all wrote me and told me about the difficulties that you were having. I would also like to know about the acceptances. I would like to know that you've signed a lease and you're moving now. I want to say congrats to you. So please keep me in the loop, okay? Let me know these things. Thanks for rocking with me. I know this was a very long video. However, you may need to come back to it. You may need to even ask me another question or two. I don't mind. I'm here for y'all. Let's get to work. Good talk.